Hello, I am Meshell Baker, the Chief Confidence Igniter, Transformational Keynote Speaker, and Confident Living Catalyst. Today on Moments with Meshell, we are going to be discussing, or I should say since it's only me, I'm going to be discussing dealing with difficult people. Now, let's start with the fact that every human being on this planet at some point, some juncture, some occurrence will come where we will all be faced with the conversation or the dealings of a difficult person. So, what is a difficult person? Well, in cases, this can be a bully, this can be someone who's an antagonist, it can be someone who's narcissistic, it can be someone who's just outright intimidating, intentionally intimidating. So, it is often another person that when you're dealing with them, you have internalized or have some level of feeling of apprehension around the interaction with that person. It doesn't mean you have to know them prior. It could be that you're somewhere out and about and all of a sudden you're met with someone who's difficult that you didn't anticipate, that all of a sudden here I am faced with a person who is being very not kind is a easy way to say it. Someone who is not demonstrating empathy or compassion or kindness in their communication at all. They just want to overlord you. They want the one-uppance over you. And so that can be very difficult for some people. So again, how do we deal with those people? Well, I created an acronym for today, and it's an acronym of folks, FOLKS, which is a synonym of people. So hey, go figure that. So first, let's think about the F is fear. So what happens when there's the difficulty with people is there is a predisposed notion. So that a person who has to deal often with difficult people has decided that people are difficult. So remember, if you follow me at any point, you know, whatever you think about and speak about, you bring about. So whenever you're feeling like there's other people out there that are smarter than you, or better than you, know more than you, anyone who triggers you to feel less than in any way can cause you to feel like that's a difficult and challenging situation. So there can be fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, or fear of repercussions. So fear of rejection is they're not going to like you, they're going to cut you out, they're going to talk bad about you, they're not going to see you as somebody smart or somebody, like if you're a business owner, they might not want to be a client, have you not want to be your client. Fear of abandonment, they'll leave you. This happens a lot in relationships. This is where people go, the devil you know is better than one you don't. And that is the absolute lie of all lies, right? If you're dealing with a devil, the opportunity to go find something better is always better. Walk out into uncertainty with the belief that you will find something better, and you will most often find something better. And the fear of repercussions. If you're in a workplace situation, the repercussion could be, worst case scenario, you get fired, right? All of us have bills to pay, right? We have mouths to feed. We have monthly obligations that are ACH overdraft in our checking accounts. So again, those fears are real circumstances that are beget. So when you start off in fear, understand you cannot create anything else but fear. The most basic principle of humanity is however we start is how we finish. What that means is whatever energetic, emotional space that you start off with, you can only create more of that. You cannot start off in fear and turn around and create something amazing. Just like you cannot get an apple tree from an orange seed, you cannot get something favorable from fear. So ask yourself, what is that feeling? So once you can start to deal with the emotions of fear of these difficult people for any circumstance, you will build the confidence and the resilience and the self-esteem to be able to deal with it in other places. And I get it. That was points in my life where I was so scared to speak up because of fear of abandonment. Right? That was big, when your dad leaves when you're young and they don't really explain it to you in a way. And as a kid, sometimes you internalize that if I was better, right? So for me, that was the one thing that I created in myself, and I know other people have. The other thing is, observing the challenges and difficulties instead of the opportunities. So again, when you have that fear base, there may be a propensity to observe because of the history. Once your feelings trigger, right? You're in the moment, The feeling will, they do something, and what they say is not almost never what they say. It's the emotion that is triggered that has a person observe that is going to be difficult. So when you want to really start turning things around, you must start to look at those difficult situations and write out, next time I go through this, how do I want to respond? Or go seek help, or go to a group, or go to a counselor, go watch some videos, right? Like this video. Really start sitting down and going, how do I want to respond? How would someone intelligent, confident, smart respond? And you start practicing that. No one gets it right the first time. It's the repetition and the practice that will help you start to overcome these feelings, because they're just feelings. You are amazing, and the only way you're going to get to amazing is by practicing being amazing. L, learn to listen and ask questions. So instead of what most people do is they start to feel judgment, and they feel that fear, and they internalize, and they start to try to tell a story, or start to try to feel better, or try to explain or apologize. The best thing to do is to not take it personal. Remember, if you have done, as I have highly encouraged you, to start your day with a routine that sets you up for success, then remember, anybody you interact with throughout that day, they can't, if you've already decided your day is going to be amazing and they show up and they're not amazing, that's not on you. That means that they're having a bad day, and they're just dragging their bad day into your zone. So now you got to question, why is this bad day and this difficult person in my zone of awesome, in my zone of amazing, in my zone of incredible, whatever you set yourself up to be. And then that way you will lean, instead of leaning back in fear, you'll lean in and get curious. You'll start asking questions. So, you can literally say, I'm curious, how's your day going? Is everything okay? I'm not certain I can help you, because I can't hear what your challenge is, because I hear so much anger. I hear so much frustration. It takes practice. Again, the repetition of you understanding that you have done nothing wrong. But the minute you start arguing with someone, you have lost, because the energy of negative and negative can only create negative. The only way you can stop it or change it is you must stay positive. And the goal is to get that other person to become positive, and you can create a favorable outcome. And if they don't, it doesn't matter, because your goal is to keep your energy in a favorable manner so you can continue to attract amazing things regardless of other people. The K is knowing your desired favorite outcomes. And that goes back to whatever time you had a difficult interaction with someone, you write it out. You can't change that prior action. You can write out what you will do the next time you're faced with a similar situation. That's all you can do. Learn. Remember, everything is a lesson or a blessing. And when you get the lesson, it becomes a blessing. Therefore, why waste time on not turning everything into a blessing? Sit down and get the lesson. So knowing what you will do in the future when you're met with that, when someone triggers you to that, how will you respond? Your mind needs the target. If you don't tell your mind, your unconscious mind, how you want to respond, it's going to keep doing what it's always done from the past. And the S, stealthily select your people. If you have people that are difficult in your inner circle, time to move them to the outer circles. Why are you intentionally arguing and engaging with difficult people? Yes, I know there's spouses. Yes, I know there's family. Then that goes to, how can you spend less time with them? I'm not telling people to get divorced and not see their family. What I am saying is, how do you plan beforehand? I actually do a pre-prep before. I have certain family members who are incredibly negative. So I know how I'm going to respond. I know how to separate myself, go in a different room. I know how to not take it personal. And I know how not to get caught up in depth conversations with someone who all they want to do is find a way to make you wrong. That's their whole goal. I have family members like that. So again, stealthily select. And then within my inner circle of people, we have different conversations. We don't gossip. We don't complain. We don't point fingers. It's always, okay, what happened? All right. So how did that make you feel? All right. So what are you going to do about it? Right. The next thing is, how are you going to use this to strengthen yourself, to build your armor, to fortify your faith that everything is working in your favor? So there you have it, folks. That's the folks. That's how we deal with difficult people, one person at a time. Practice, repetition, and preparation. Take the bad experiences, if you want to call them bad, the challenges, experiences in your life, and sit down and rewrite how you are going to handle it the next time. Because the thing I'm going to promise you, when you don't deal with the current difficult people in your life, you always get more and more and more. When you begin to learn how to deal with the difficult people in your life, they will show up less and less and less. All right. So thank you for watching. I put one out every Monday. That's my commitment for 2024. Becoming more in 2024 is to have a moment with Meshell on Mondays. And so this is your moment. If you have any questions, you can look down, email me at hello@meshellbaker.com. If you're looking for a speaker, I also speak on confidence, imposter syndrome, and leadership. Reach out to me. It's all down there. I look forward to seeing you all next Monday. And remember, there are no difficult people. It's just a lesson to empower you to be stronger, more resilient, more confident, so your greatness can come out, so that you can just keep sidestepping all these people and you can get your big, hairy, audacious dreams faster. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.